This is the last weekend of campaigning for two Democrats in two key special elections in Virginia. While many national Democrats have spent the last 2 months since Election Day in conversation about the future, in Virginia, Election Day was the first day of the next campaign. That campaign ends Tuesday with a special election for state Senate, where Democrats currently hold a 21-19 majority. There's also a special election in the state House. Now, it is hard work to knock on doors and convince people to vote for you in a presidential election year. But talk about campaigning in the wake of what happened in November and during the holiday season. Whew, that's a tall order. But it is oh so very important. And I'm going to be honest, I'm very biased because I once worked in the Virginia House of Delegates. America's policy, folks, it is made in our state legislatures. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, he is actually term limited. So Democrats have a real chance of winning the governor's race in November. But the success of a potential Democratic-led government in Virginia, it actually starts with winning these special elections and keeping control of the state legislature. Joining us now are two Democrats running on January 7th. Virginia delegate Kanyan Srinivasian is running for Virginia Senate, and J.J. Singh is running for Delegate Srinivasian's seat in the House of Delegates. Both are running to represent parts of Loudoun County outside of Washington, D.C. Thank you both for joining me today. Can we just start with the stakes of this race? Because it is my understanding that losses in either two of these seats would result in potentially Republican control or a power-sharing agreement having to happen in one or both of the chambers. So, Delegate Srinivasian, can I start with you, just the stakes here in this election and how it's been campaigning in the wake of November, that November election?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Yes, the stakes are very high. As you rightly said, it is a thin majority that we have in the General Assembly. In the Senate, it's 21-19. There are many things on the line. Women's right to choose, number one, is on the line. The constitutional amendment is on the line. My opponent has clearly said that she will vote against it and she will ban abortion. So that's clearly on the line. Common sense gun safety is on the line. Investing in public education is on the line. Investing in climate change is on the line. We had 2 years of majority 2 years ago in the General Assembly, and Democrats did amazing things. When we had trifecta, we did outstanding work. So as you rightfully said, we have the chance to have a trifecta next November, but it starts with this important election. That's why I'm running. I'm a son of 2 school teachers. I'm the first Indian American immigrant elected to the Virginia House of Delegates. And I am very excited about this. I've been knocking thousands of doors, and people want to hear, people want to push back. People are concerned about many things, including the new administration.
You know, Mr. Singh, the delegate makes a really important point here. And let's just drive the point home from the last conversation I was just having with Jason Johnson. The Augusta Free Press had a column on Glenn Youngkin backing Donald Trump and Elon Musk's plan to cut federal spending in parts of the federal government. They write this: Glenn Youngkin thinks that 300,000 Virginians whose job seems to be on the line with Donald Trump's promise to dismantle the federal government can just get a job somewhere else. That may result in some job losses in federal government. I think that efficiencies oftentimes do result in that, said Youngkin, a former hedge fund guy with a net worth north of $400 million. So, yes, he feels your pain there, folks. Mr. Singh, this Loudoun County is home to a number of individuals that disproportionately have ties to working for the federal government. Virginia particularly has one of the largest military employees in the Commonwealth. Talk about the stakes here as it relates to what could potentially be coming down the pipeline in Virginia.
I mean, you said it best. I was born and raised right here in Northern Virginia. Both of my parents spent their entire careers working for the Department of Veteran Affairs. The federal government is integral to the economy of Northern Virginia. It's integral to the economy of the entire Commonwealth. And it's not just federal government employees. It's members of our military who serve on our bases here. So the disruption that they're trying to put into place could have really significant impacts here in Virginia.
I am just struck by the fact that while many folks were wringing their hands about the last election and talking about pontificating about how to talk to voters, the two of you are out there actually talking to voters. Delegate, what have you been hearing from folks out there on the ground?
People are concerned about many things, Simone. I mean, they're concerned about dilution of their rights. They don't want their children to have less rights than what they have. That's very concerning to them. They're very concerned about the jobs. They're very concerned about the uncertainty of the new administration. Healthcare is another big one. I got involved in politics only because of healthcare. I got hit by a truck when I was a student. In early 90s, my wife's rare surgery. Those two incidences made me realize how broken our healthcare system is. You know, we have wonderful doctors, nurses, and specialists, but our healthcare system is broken. People are very concerned about that. People are concerned about cost of tuition, about public education. The other side wants to cut public education. Democrats were the first to invest heavily in public education last year in our budget. I was very proud to support that. So people are concerned. People are concerned about gun safety. We have had 84 school shootings, and they are very, very concerned about that. So, you know, we have the policies. We are the party of good governance, and we can deliver to all Virginians. And that is the message that I talk about at every door.
Mr. Singh, how are you going to spend your last weekend campaigning?
Knocking on doors. We've knocked on thousands of doors so far, and I want to tell you what I'm hearing, which is very similar to what the delegates hearing. Excuse me. The first is I have two daughters who are in public school, and I care about reducing gun violence. Gun violence is the #1 cause of death for kids. The second thing is we talk about reproductive freedom. My two daughters have fewer rights than my wife did before the Dobbs decision. The third thing that I'm talking about with voters at the doors is, as what the delegate mentioned, college tuition. When I went to the University of Virginia, tuition, room, and board was $15,000 a year, and now it's $40,000 a year. The situation is totally untenable. We have a public institution that's requiring parents, if they can afford to help at all, to choose between funding their own retirement or their kids' education. And so when we talk about voters about these issues, it's getting them excited, it's getting them enthused, it's getting them to see the stakes, it's getting them to see the importance of coming out. And so we're going to keep doing it. I knock doors in the snow. And one thing I'll mention about the stakes, my mom, who was 76 years old, recent knee replacement surgery, with 8 of her friends, who I call super aunties, knocked on doors in the snow. If they can do it, the rest of us can do it.
Hear, hear. Election Day is January 7th, Virginia. Get out there and vote. Delegate Kanyan Srinivasian, candidate for Virginia Senate, and J.J. Singh, candidate for Virginia State House. Thank you both for joining us tonight.